Hey, I'm Sophia Miles, and this is the legend of the travelling TARDIS.
Hello. It's your boy, Tasty Cake. And welcome to another episode of The Legend of the Travelling TARDIS. It's I, your host, the Reverend Agyeman. Stop being silly. What's going on here? Yes. Welcome to another episode of Legend of the Travelling TARDIS. I'm hosting again because I said so. Now, let's get serious here, folks. We're doing technically the part 2 of the story, the review of The Family of Blood. So there's going to be a lot of different answers and going back and listening and understanding things. My answer has actually changed, but there'll be a surprise thing. I will show off my skills when the time comes. But until then, let's bring forth. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Where's the candy man?
Hey guys, how you all doing? I'm good. I just want to wish everyone happy Mario Day or March 10th. I think it is Mario Day, isn't it today?
Mm-hmm. It's me, Mario.
I'm all good. I'm getting really confused on your time shifting because we haven't shifted in the same time zone as you guys. We're still in the darkness of GMT.
There's a lot of shift going around. Yeah. So,
talking about shifts, who are we going to shift to next?
Exactly.
That's how you do a segue, Tom.
Let's see who owns a segue. Michelle, do you own a segue?
No, I do not. I'm not like the CEO of the Segway who, when he tried it out, he died on a Segway going over a cliff. Look it up. Yeah, several years ago, the new CEO of Segway went out and tried a Segway and went over a cliff by all of a sudden.
Because he was the quickest CEO to take a dive.
Yes. And I'm old enough, children. I'm old enough to remember when they announced the Segway that it was going to change the world. Remember that, like 2000, 2001. It was going to change the world and would make the world better. Yeah, whatever.
Wow. Okay. Speaking of those that passed, let's bring to the one who lives across the street from those who have passed. There, segue.
That is a good one. Yes. Wow. I do live in a house by the cemetery, and it's pouring rain right now. And I'm kind of glad, because if any zombies come, they're just going to sink into the mushy grass. Yeah?
Well, also, your neighbors are really quiet most of the time.
Dead
they
quiet.
Are so quiet. Dead quiet. I actually took a walk through the cemetery yesterday, and, it's not lively there, for sure. They need to spruce the place up a bit or something.
Wow. I almost spilled my geek tea. Anyway. Nis. as my other co-conspirator has asked, what about the earthquake around Sleepy Hollow?
Oh, yes. Who caused that? Or what creature?
Well, she's going to do the news, so that'll be a bit before I can even...
Yeah, we'll find out.
So, segue to this one. Okay, segue to... So, Sean, what do you know
Yes.
about Sleepy Hollow?
I really like the legend of Sleepy Hollow. I think actually we discussed Sleepy Hollow in the last episode we did. We were talking about like spooky places in the United States, and apparently there's those abroad as well, because there's a cemetery with some zombies with some very wet socks who are not going to be very happy when they try to leave the cemetery. But I did want to, on a completely unrelated note, I wanted to also wish our audience a very happy Mario Day. I watched the Nintendo Direct today about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And chat, if you are here and you are listening, please let me know, how many more Mario movies do you think we're going to get in the theater before we get a proper Doctor Who movie in the theater? Let me know your answers in the chat, please. And hello everyone, I'm excited for this episode.
The answer is we will never get a proper Doctor Who movie in the theaters. Solve that one for you.
So Infinity, basically. We'll get Infinity
Basically,
movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because again, I think Doctor Who is something that does better on TV than in theater. So, I mean,
In some timeline, some other dimension, we got a really cool Absalom Doc Dalek killer movie.
Absalom Doc.
Also in some other timeline, like we probably had like, I don't know, Jim Carrey or someone play the Eighth Doctor, and that series got picked up, and now Doctor Who is completely different somewhere. I don't know.
Or the proposed Doctor Who American TV animation show from the 90s.
Yeah.
We dodged a bullet.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Okay, I derailed my train of thoughts. There are no survivors. So let's go forth with again. We're bringing forth a review of The Family of Blood. But before we do that, we're going to bring forth, henceforth, so forth. Let's push the button to bring in Gadget.
Bear with me, guys. Like I said, I'm recovering from that cold last time and everything. But I was asking to make sure Nick was okay, because they said it did affect from Yonkers all the way up, the Sleepy Hollow earthquake. It was what, 2.7? Because I barely missed it. I'm on the border and everything. But you didn't feel it or anything, right?
I slept all the way through it. Yeah. I just learned that snails can sleep for up to 3 years.
Oh, wow.
A long hibernation. I can't sleep that long, but I can sleep through an earthquake.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm a California girl. I can sleep through earthquakes.
Yes.
I actually slept through the Northridge earthquake in 1994.
Wow, that was a big one.
Yeah, and I was in San Diego, and everyone, my whole family woke up. I slept through it. Yeah.
I had a minor one when I was up there. I was in San Jose. It's like, what was that? Okay, back to sleep.
We have them all the time. Half the time they're not even named, to be honest. It'd be like, oh, earthquake, whatever. Okay,
Tremor.
come on.
Because that was big news around here on the East Coast, because as there is no Doctor Who news, everyone's worried now about earthquakes and what's going on, because bear with us, New York is just getting a little funny, especially with the mayor's house right now, allegedly, and stuff. So we're going to leave that at that, because I know everybody's desperate for Wilderness Year stuff and everything. This is why they have a lot of free time on their hands to do all this crazy stuff and everything. But let's start with the birthdays, because I'm going to mess the name up again. Even Christian gave me the way to say it correctly, but it's Yi J Cho. Did I say it right? Or am I getting better? Each year I mess it up, you know, and everything. Close. Try to make sure on the birthdays, because he gave me the correct year, but I want to make sure if I'm adding it right and everything, because
Roger Dodger.
Yeah, I don't want to, because he does not age either and stuff. He's only a year older than me. That's why I'm like, he turned 51 and everything on March 10th of being today. So happy birthday on his actual birthday. And I'm hoping you guys get to see him at the next conventions and everything, and also in the re-release of 4K now, the Doctor Who movie and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You guys get to see him and everything and stuff. He was also in the Commish, Highlander, Sliders, you know, everything pretty cool and stuff, right? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Stargate SG-1. Guys, check him out. He's really cool. I think his last thing he did was Arrow as a scientist in the episode The Climb. And his audio drama, the last one was Turn of the Screw, the narrator in 2018. So not bad and everything and stuff. But these two should be cut from the same mold and everything, because Christian gave me these guys last minute and everything. John Barrowman and Alex Kingston. And John, you are more than welcome to come on the show. I mean, you've already kissed the TARDIS. You know what I mean? We don't care what you did, who you did. See, in my family, we don't care who you did, what you did, or anything. Here's a bowl of pasta. Have a nice day. You know? And everything. So you're welcome to the TARDIS. Please. I've been asking you to come. Come to the TARDIS, you know? And everything and stuff. Like, everything, you know? Just come to the TARDIS. You are more than welcome. We want to hear your stories and everything. We want to hear your side of it. And everything, okay? I mean, if we have to bring you a bowl of pasta at a convention to get you to come, we'll bring you a bowl of pasta. I mean, just come, and because we miss you and everything, and we want to see. I know you're busy, but come and just talk with us one day and stuff. And it's crazy that he's turning tomorrow 59 years old, I think. Let me make sure I get it right. Yep, 59 tomorrow.
59.
Yeah.
John will bring you some beaver nuggets from Buc-ee's.
Ooh, that might tempt him.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to tempt him to the TARDIS. You know, because come on, you're kissing the TARDIS. You know, like come on, he needs to come. We need to hear his funny stories and everything, especially in the wilderness years. You know, and he could set everybody straight. Especially, I want to hear the story that I heard at New York Comic Con when he had to wear the things on his feet while running through the quarry and everything, chasing after everybody in Torchwood. I mean, it was a funny story, and I want him to tell it, you know, and everything. And he had all the crew cracking up. But this next one has everyone always cracking up, wondering where she's gonna pop up next in every crack that she finds and everything. But Alex Kingston, formerly the Doctor's wife and everything, also on ER, she turned 63 tomorrow. Wow. No. Okay, no. And everything. And I'm hoping she turns up like a bad penny on all the convention trails, because we need to see her as well. She's more than welcome here too. She's got to get her butt here too and stuff, because no, we need to hear all these backstories. We need to hear all the funny stuff that happened and everything, because I think her journey through television was her in disguise as River Song. She popped up everywhere. Every show, she was popping up everywhere. You know, so was it like a tie-in to things or what? Because I would consider her that's what she did while she wasn't with the Doctor. She was popping up in other people's stories, you know, and everything. But speaking of stories, I was privy to some information about a lost footage that has been found in a documentary and everything for original classic Who and stuff. It was first announced on one of the podcasters, the Nerd Den. And then now, if you go to YouTube, I'm trying to get the right, for film and television, I'm just trying to get the right one right now and everything before it pops up and you guys hear it and everything. The company it's an exclusive Sue Madlin interview with Films is Fabulous on YouTube. Look them up and everything. And she talks about her journey through the BBC archives and everything as a librarian, as everything, and how they discovered that this collector who had passed away had an episode that wasn't kept on the shelves. It seems that things used to disappear on the shelves and everything. So lost but found episodes are returning because collectors are now either giving up their collections or passing away and their collections are being found. I still say here at WLIW, TV 21, there are episodes hidden in their vault and everything, as well as many other things that are hidden in plain sight, especially that hidden from everybody's sight is the war between the land and the sea. Is a good example why I do my due diligence on news and everything, because one of the other news outlets had posted saying there was a different ending from the show and everything. Turned out it was rehashed from a article done in February by Radio Times. So I'm going to let you guys know, while we're during this wilderness years, there is no war between the land and the sea yet. There is going to be some news I'm going to mention soon, because I got permission, because if you've tuned into Who Culture, Ellie spilled the beans on something that I was also, because we might have the same contacts and everything, that production has been delayed for the Christmas special, and Bells might have been involved with something, because Murray slipped about 3 scripts and everything and stuff for the Christmas, that there's different workings and everything. But I said it before here. It's based on their availability, their time, their everything and stuff. And they can shoot an episode within 1 month. I've seen it. I've heard about it, especially when I was over there and I spoke to people at the Doctor Who Museum adventure and everything in Cardiff and stuff, when they were explaining how the production works and everything. And they can do reshoots, they can do shots around and everything and stuff. But what I was given permission on, I want to tell you guys so bad, because our podcast came close to what one of the episodes or the Christmas special might allegedly be and stuff, by the way we were talking about it. But life has a way of not being so wonderful, and everything. And we have to deal with the wilderness years for now until we can get the actual proof, because like Ellie said on her show too, those titles might not be titles. Those titles are just, somebody might have wrote them and everything and stuff and everything. We don't know what the titles were. Keen reviewers and people know what the titles were. Also know that the 3rd season had a bunch of fun stuff that I wish I could tell you guys and everything, because those scripts might be leaked allegedly soon and stuff, and help with the Christmas special allegedly, as well as many other things coming up. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, Disney allegedly dropped the ball. We lost out on some very good stuff. And right now I have a very sad, sneaky suspicion, allegedly, that land and sea is going to be the bargaining chip. And I really don't want that to happen, because I know they have to edit it for American content and audience, because some of the scenes in there cannot be played here in the United States. So I suggest you guys watch documentaries, watch other YouTube channels about the wilderness years and everything and stuff. Get your new audio dramas that are out from Big Finish and just catch up that way. Buy the copy of the new Doctor Who, like the 4K version of the 8th Doctor, right? 8 Doctors movie, especially when my cousin was head of Fox and was running that damn movie. He threw out a bunch of them in VHS in the garbage. Yeah, I know. That's what Fox was. They just threw them out. That I could tell you was not a legend. He told me they just threw them out. They even threw out some Family Guy stuff. So, yeah. So I'm telling you right now, guys, get your stuff together. Get everything good. And hopefully, maybe this life will be wonderful. Who knows?
Is that right, Clarence?
We might. Who knows? I mean, just think along that lines for Christmas, because I already got my Christmas hat ready for when Doctor Who Christmas premieres.
That's right, Clarence. I'd say.
Yeah, because I would love our other panelists to know and guess what could be the title of maybe one of the scripts or a working title, because since everyone's throwing titles out there that might not exist.
I could never get past the title.
But otherwise, it's a lot of fun and everything. And they did say we were close on what one of the Christmas special would have probably been and stuff. But we're getting there. So a lot of podcasts are allegedly getting things right, but sometimes we're getting things wrong. So is there anything else we have to mention besides anything for the news, or you want to save the conventions for later?
Let me think about this again. We were talking about
Yeah, anything that you wanted mentioned for news, or you want to save it for later?
the one news I want to bring up because it was posted on here. Oh, we'll still get back to
Yeah.
But a news
Before
one.
before we close it out, that's what I'll make sure of everything.
I want to mention Nick first.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. That's what I was saying. Do you want to put that with the conventions, or do you want to put that with?
Oh, it's a convention thing. Is that a convention?
I don't know if it is. That's the thing. I was trying. It's not a convention thing, so it's actually news.
It's totally news. Yeah.
It's totally new. Okay, so because I'm trying to skim it while I'm talking on here and everything.
Not
So,
totally Who
let's take it away.
related at all, but I am excited to tell you I have a new movie coming out next week. I was a producer on a movie called Interior Hallway Night. The star is Billy Zane of Titanic and Twin Peaks and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He also directed it, and it's a really quirky kind of humorous mystery. It's very cool. If you get a chance, check out the trailer, Interior Hallway Night. And of all the movies I've worked on, this is the one that I'm probably proudest of. It's turned out really well. So I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I enjoyed working on it. It comes out on March 20th on all the streamers, Amazon, cable, all that good stuff. I only found out a few days ago.
That's not fair.
And it just dropped on Fandango for pre-order. And I'm super excited just to share it with people. We shot it in Sparta, Georgia.
What?
Wait a minute.
North of me?
North
Coming
of
out
you,
on my
exactly.
birthday?
Yeah, yes.
What?
Do you believe in coincidences?
Coincidence? I think not.
No.
But I think that's it for the news because the
I
other.
think, but first we must give him a round of applause for it. The wonderful, yeah.
I can't remember these buttons are. Media assets, all the way down. Media assets. Positive.
Oh, there we go.
So we're gonna have to get him his Oscar. We're gonna have to get him his Oscar.
Folks in the chat, please take a look. Let me know what you think. I'd love to get some feedback.
Yes, most definitely. And I think that is for the news.
I mean, I want to spill more that I have privilege of, but I think that's better saved because it is the wilderness years for a better time.
Yeah.
Is it Wilderness Years Part 2?
Electric Boogaloo.
I thought it was part 3 because we did have that small little because of the movie and everything. After the movie, it was that little gap, and then
I still classify it as the one part. It was just one movie.
Tom, can I say something for a second?
Yes, Sean.
Yeah. Guys, I wanted to say something just real quick. Because it was invoked. I am only speaking for myself. I'm only saying this because it was invoked. I know in the past there have been a lot of discussions about the Doctor Who set in the past and allegations and things of that nature. I have not taken a position on these things because I don't have all the facts. But my position is always that everyone who has something to say should be listened to, and that people should act accordingly once all the facts are known. So I'm only speaking for myself on this, but as far as all that's concerned, I know it's involved multiple people before in the past. That's always my position. So we're not all necessarily concurrent all the time on whatever it is. But I haven't taken positions usually because I don't know all the facts and I'm only speaking for myself here. But because it was invoked, I just wanted to say that since I am part of the show. That's all.
You just confused me, Sean. Are you talking about Doctor Who with John Barryman, or are you talking about the show here?
I'm talking about Doctor Who. I'm not talking about anything here on this show. I'm only talking about Doctor Who.
So you're talking about what the alleged happened with Barryman.
Yeah, just with anybody, honestly.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
Okay, just to clarify for our audience, because like the audience, some are privy to what John has said and everything. And it was also promoted on, believe it or not, an LGBTQ podcast that he went on and promoted what happened and everything and got his side of the story and everything. So, I mean, he's done other outlets and everything and stuff and things like that. And I'm talking about having them come on to talk about the fun stuff that was there.
Yeah.
And everything. He can talk about what happened because there's always two sides to a coin. Some have two faces, some have two tails, you know? But I want to make sure that you're understanding. We were just talking about him and all the actors coming on since we have the Wilderness Years, just to talk about what set was like, the fun stuff.
Yeah,
we don't want.
I got what you were saying. I got you.
Okay, and that it wasn't.
You're
it wasn't
to
about
the other person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not talking about the show and how people perceive the show and everything and stuff.
I was just.
No, just making sure because I'm dyslexic with a learning disability that needs to. I'm dyslexic with a learning disability that wants to just clarify because there is some things with part of my learning disability that does seem like to other people that I will overstep on things, and they don't question that with someone who has autism. Do you understand what I mean? And stuff like that, but they'll question it with someone who has dyslexia. So that's why I wanted to clarify with you. You're not talking about the show. You were just talking about what happened with John and how you didn't hear the part that he has been resolving it and he is getting on better terms because people are learning to deal with the past and move forward.
Yeah, I get you. I was just talking about that whole thing.
We're clarifying for my learning disability because I don't hide my learning disability from people, and I explain to people that I had to hide my learning disability for so many years, so people misinterpret how I react to things because they don't know, because I don't portray I have one as much to people.
Yeah, I get you. I was just kind of saying something for myself. We can talk about it another time if you want to.
No, I just want to make sure that we can clarify because it is part of the news, because we do want people to understand that there was a situation with John and we all have different viewpoints of it. But like I said, my family grew up, we don't care what you do, who you do, how you did it, and everything. You sit down, talk about it, have a bowl of pasta. And that's it. Okay? We don't see anything, we don't do anything, because what was done was done. It's already part of the universe.
Yeah, Sean. You know how Dave talks about when he does the Happiness Patrol show?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, trying to get away from the toxic stuff because
Right.
what we already know about stuff, it just, again, that's fuel for the fire. What we all try to do is we're so upbeat and so intense. We just kind of like go crazy with all these ideas, but we're just trying to give out the positive energy, because if you want anything negative, you look out the window, you see all these things. And
down in Manhattan, what I'm going through right now, 3 bomb threats allegedly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Tom. I'm just saying since that was said and I am part of the show, I'm saying I'm just speaking for myself and clarifying that. I wasn't trying to.
That's why I wanted to make sure that that's what you were trying to say. You were trying to clarify, like I try to clarify when I don't understand something. And that's why I want to make sure that it wasn't that you were not understanding why we did the show this way, or was it that because I talked about John and having him wanted to come on and not defend himself, but like talk about the fun stuff that I saw at New York Comic Con before all this controversy started.
Yeah, we just want the happiness stuff, because we're not going to be pushing, saying if they're pushing all the other things like, well, you do this, you do that, that's for another show.
No, that's something else.
That's so many people do all the things. We just try to say, well, we all know, but we're just not going to bring it up. We're saying, okay, what you eat today? And we just keep it light and fluffy. Like my ears on my cap, stuff like that.
Like this episode we're going to be reviewing has a stigma on it too, and everything. And I don't understand half of this episode, part 1 and part 2, because I didn't grow up privy to most of what it was. I grew up with the terminologies, but no one ever explained them to me correctly. They said I didn't need to know. It was in the past. Ignore it. Just let it go and everything, and not explain it correctly to me. And that's why I want to make sure we're explaining correctly to you, Sean, because learning disability to learning disabilities and stuff, and disabilities to disabilities. some people perceive things differently.
Right.
Okay.
Shall
So
we?
that's what I'm saying. So we're good with the news right now. You understand where we're coming from. And hopefully, like I said, the door is open to all the Doctor Who stars, past and present. We don't care. Just come on, have some fun with us, because we need to fill time and everything. We're going to be honest. We need to fill time because it is the wilderness years. And we want to hear all the war stories, especially with this war episode that we'll be reviewing. Nice segue to that one, right?
Nice segue. Shall we get our numbers and then go to commercials?
Oh, yes.
But we're going to end the news, right?
Yeah, we'll end the news first, then go get our numbers and then go commercials.
Yeah, he may push that button. Okay, now push the button. Okay, so where do I put it? My monologue. So, Gadget. Gadget, what's your number?
Well, I had to rewatch part 1 with part 2, and then I found something else that I had said, can I have permission to listen to? Because I didn't want it to interfere my thing because of everything, because I think I found his clone. Or I don't know which way to go, which way to point. Wait, which way to point? This one. Wait, which one? This one. No, this one. Okay. So after watching it with this episode and everything, I'm still going to stay within the 7s and 8s and everything, because, like I said, it's the first time I've seen it. I know why it wasn't aired on Disney XD and Sci-Fi. I know why now, and everything, especially like I said about American content and everything.
American content, and for British content,
nice segue.
9.5. No numbers after 0.5. Just a simple 9.5 for me.
9.5.
Oh, 9.5. I think you said 0.5. So was that low? Okay.
Yeah, I thought that too. I'm like,
hell,
wow, that's harsh.
Yeah, 9.5.
And Nick is British, and he could understand you. So let's go back to an American accent. Sean, your American accent, please.
8.75. I wanted to do it really American. 8.75.
Don't you mean 8675309?
8675309.
I got it.
Yes. 8.6.
Get your number off the wall.
I messed it up. Okay. Well,
if I can type without looking. Tell my bell. What's your number, please?
Oh, she's on mute.
Sorry about that. My dog was barking, so I will go a 9.
9. So she says no again. Okay.
All the time. That's how I got fired.
Do I have the lowest then?
No.
Well,
you're in the middle, because I'm gonna wait for Nick.
Nick is the next. Let's see.
Sorry, Nick.
This is so good. I'm going to give it a big, fat, shiny, hairy 10.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
10.
I'd like to know how you made that. I'm trying to figure it out, and I only made a 7.8. How did you get a 10 out of that?
Well, all shall be revealed.
All shall be revealed after the commercials.
Which
with this commercial? Okay, so everyone stay tuned, all that good stuff. But like,
he's got to find a good one.
Find these buttons that he keeps pushing here. So I don't remember the things here. I'm gonna push the button.
I didn't listen to that voice.
Are you tired of toxic fandoms? Do you wish we could go back to being happy? So do we. We created the Happiness Patrol to get away from all of the toxicity in fandoms, in life, and so we decided we wanted to do a show about something that makes us happy. And in the first season, that something is Star Wars. So join myself, Cameron, Scott, Jessica, and Melanie on Happiness Patrol at youtube.com/@happinesspatrolshow.
I'm author Mark Muncy.
And I'm author Erica Lance.
And this is Eerie Travels.
Greetings, travelers. Join us as we travel through folklore, myths, monsters, legends, and dark history.
Now, we'll be your guide to the spooky side of reality as we discuss cryptids, paranormal, and all things preternatural.
Sometimes we find the truth is way scarier than fiction.
We're on twice a week on your favorite podcast platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube.
We have amazing guests from all of the areas of the strange and unusual, including witnesses, investigators, and more.
Yeah, with Erica's curiosity and ridiculous array of pop culture and true crime knowledge.
And Mark's decades of experience diving into folklore and the legends with the truth that's behind them.
Yeah, so join us, travelers, as we take you to the edge of reality, and we'll see you on the other side.
So what's your favorite Western? Is it this one or maybe one of these? Is it a revisionist Western, an anti-Western, or maybe it's an all-time classic? Whether your favorite Western is in black and white, vibrant Technicolor, a spaghetti Western, a neo-Western, a comedy, or maybe it's only really Western in spirit. Whatever it is, this is the podcast dedicated to determining the top 100 Westerns of all time. Every second Monday on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. It's Horses on Film.
Hello, I'm Sadie Miller, and this is The Legend of the Travelling TARDIS.
And yes, we're back. Legend of the Travelling TARDIS for the review of The Family Blood. How bloody brilliant it is.
I just realised, sorry, Tom, I just realised chocolate cornetto and root beer do not go together.
Oh.
Yes, they do.
Really?
Not chocolate cornetto. And
Wait.
I
No, wait.
never discovered that.
You could make a root beer float.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's with vanilla ice cream. I have that all the time, but chocolate and root beer, it's doing weird things to my mouth. But I'm a candy man, so anyway, on to the show. I just share that.
So you try these things.
Brain freeze instead of whole freeze.
And for the Americans at home, he's referring to a chocolate cone.
Yeah.
But I've had chocolate ice cream with root beer. It's not bad.
Maybe it's root beer.
Yeah, but root beer's a quiet taste, even for the British people. You don't get.
What about cream soda?
Yeah, cream soda's everywhere. Root beer is hard to find in the UK.
Yeah,
And there are certain
And yet I
root
found it
beers
every
that are better
time.
than others. I'm a root beer connoisseur. Some root beers are better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Just
then
You know, you gotta get the right root beer. You can't do the dollar store variety.
Mm-mm.
You know, that's just no.
Michelle, are you a glass bottle or plastic bottle?
Whatever it comes in to be. I know glass is better, but it's sometimes hard to find glass. A&W to me is not. Nah, that's like mouthwash. Like,
What about Bart's? Bart's root beer?
Ours is good. Brock's is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then there's a lot of independent makers are good. But yeah, you gotta get the right root beer. It's an experience.
That's when Candyman comes to the States, we get him the right root beer, we get everything. That's why we need to get.
He brings the proper chocolate, and then we will give him the proper. Bring Cadbury. Cadbury is way better. I'll bring in some Ghirardelli. Ghirardelli's pretty good. But he brings the Cadbury.
That's the deal.
Yep.
Next time I come over, I will bring Cadbury.
Hershey's, no.
Well, conventions, you hear this? We bring us over for panels and things. Hello,
Well,
and
even
stuff.
the family of the guy who created Reese's is going after that Hershey's is using substandard quality, and they're mad that, and they're, you do
See the two different packaging places.
Well,
wow.
Even as an adult, they go, oh, things change when you're adult. No, I remember stuff like 10, 20 years ago tasting way better.
Well, you know why they can't have real Cadbury here, and they have the fake Cadbury here? Because someone complained about milk fat. They thought the fat from the milk in there was making them fat.
Okay,
and that's actually proven. That was actually proven. So they have to make it less milk fat.
I'm out of here.
Oh, that's a
Because I can't have certain candies because of my allergies and everything. And Cadbury was the only one I could eat. I can't eat the American Cadbury. I can only eat British.
I'm going to slightly disappoint you. Even though they haven't changed it, everyone's complaining about Cadbury's at the moment.
They probably changed it over there now.
Yeah.
Well, like the size or the taste?
The taste.
Taste.
You know, it used to be milk and a half. It's milk and a half with palm oil now.
Oh, no.
God, you can't take Americans anywhere. No wonder we got
Man, you need to do 2 more things with cornettos, and then we'll have a trilogy.
Anyway, let's get back on track because I will go off the tangent.
No, this is going to be spilled to another show.
I gotta say it.
Hey, you know what? There we go.
I gotta say it because
press all the buttons.
Reese's,
don't press all the buttons. You saw what happened in the
Reese's
show.
marshmallow does not taste right. The chocolate is different from the original Reese's peanut butter cup, and the marshmallow. No,
is it made in Mexico or Hershey's, Pennsylvania? You got to check the packaging now on the back if it's made in Mexico or Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Someone did that on Instagram, so we got. Okay, we can.
That's another idea. He's writing down all the ideas, you guys.
I should have. Greg will write down the ideas and remember them. So going back to Spill the Blood. That's another horror movie, right? Family of Blood. So
Spill the Geek Blood.
Private chat.
Spill the Blood is also known as World War One.
Yep.
Segue. I need to put a banner saying segue. I gotta spell it correctly and put segue.
Wait, where's your poppies?
Oh.
You have the poppy. Okay.
I have an American one. I don't have the British one.
Yeah, mine got lost in the mail. I went to order one. Candyman went to go get his.
And anybody want Decoration Day wants to send me one from England, please. I have a World War One relatives in my family tree that fought for England. So,
Grant, what time is it in New Zealand? My goodness, I feel.
Oh, I didn't even notice he was from New Zealand.
Yeah,
I was reading the his like what he gave for the review and everything. I was trying to go back and find it to tell you. He gave an 8 out of 10, so he's around where I am, like 7, 8. Yeah.
I started.
Cool. Oh, perfect. Yes.
So he said 8 out of 10. So.
And then I think somebody else said 9 and stuff.
Oh. Roy.
Yeah, it was 8.75.
309.
We serve together.
Oh, they said Grant said it's 11:47 in the morning.
Good morning, Grant.
Unmute Mark.
Yeah, it's the purple and red poppies I've got.
Yeah, we need that for this episode. It's a spoiler ahead, but it's what we need.
Spoilers. Okay, let's see. Private. No, it wasn't private chat. It was people. Not people. It's notes. Okay, so everyone there. That's math. My cohort.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry I picked the lowest, but like I said.
What was yours again, Gadget?
It was 7, 8 around there because
I put 7.8.
This was never aired on Disney XD or Sci-Fi Channel because back when the early 2000s, those were the only really places you could find Doctor Who. And Disney XD was the brand new channel for like the preteens, the teenagers and everything and stuff. And they would edit so badly all of Tennant's whatever and stuff and everything. And Sci-Fi would make up for it and everything, but with the commercials. So it was like, I didn't know you didn't have to put commercials through Doctor Who until I went to England. They said there's no commercials through it. And I was like, what? And stuff. So watching this now I had to rewatch the first ones to understand because someone did slip a episode backwards and everything and stuff. The reason I gave it 7, 8 was because one, we're arguing with ourselves basically in there. He's arguing with himself. It's the duality of personality. It's like what persona, this persona, that persona, and everything, just to hide from someone that was going to die out. But the problem was, I don't think they were going to die out per se, because I think he was trying to avoid them from taking human form, because now I'm thinking they'll live as long as the human lives. That's why he did what he did in the episode towards the end and everything, because they weren't going to die. They were going to be living out their lives as a human form because they took over the bodies and everything. But what got me more was the fact of, like, he was arguing with himself. Martha had to play like the mom and like the big sister and everybody. Like, she had to be the front runner and be like, take command of things and stuff. I feel bad. What was his name? Tim or something? The kid with the psychic ability. I feel bad because he was scared because of what he perceived in the watch. And that's when I talk about perception. To me, perceiving this episode, it was all over the place. And the reason I asked Tom if I could watch something else was because they actually figured out what I was getting stuck on. It's 3 stories in one and everything. And they weren't focusing on, they were focusing on here, there, and not everything, you know? They were focusing on his love story with the nurse. They were focusing on Martha trying to figure out what to do because she's now put in charge of everything. They got Tim, who can see the future and telekinetic. And then you've got, well, technically 4 stories because you've got the family of blood who could have basically found him anywhere. But why did the TARDIS bring them there? Especially when the nurse tells him at the end, if you had come to this time and everything, would these people have died? You know? And the blatant racism in it, the blatant everything, but that was the time period. And most people, you can't, it's hard to explain to people who don't want to review history if history keeps changing or disappearing, because people don't want to perceive it, don't want to, they'll put their fingers in their ears, because what I'm seeing is how the nurse even said to Martha, you of your complexion or heritage, I should say, how are you to be a doctor? You know, women can be doctors, but how have you to be a doctor? Because she was still thinking women's suffragette, everything and stuff like that and everything at that time, but not thinking the heritage. Because to me, the human race is basically what this is talking about and everything, because he's Gallifreyan race and everything and stuff. And it's like, what is your identity? What is your true identity? But if you have to hide who you are, and it still causes problems and everything for others because somebody's trying to track you down, you know, isn't it better just to face it up front? And I would have seen this as an episode where the doctor should just face the family up front and dealt with them. But I think he put them, the little girl in the mirror and everything, I think he did all that stuff because after what the nurse said to him about the deaths and everything and stuff. And it was his way of saying, okay, I'm going to solve it my way and everything. You blame me for these people dying, even though I still love you. I still care about you. I can remember everything. I can tell what's going on and stuff and everything. And he now knows Martha loves him. He knows this and everything. It's just one of those. And where does he go from there? He plays dumb when he gets on their ship and hits all the buttons and causes a problem for them and traps them because he had to make a decision. Does he stay John Smith and run from everything and fear everything? He didn't really shoot the guns, but he did give Tim told someone to get a beating, because that's why Tim is also afraid of him and stuff, because he says he's the fire, you know, and stuff. But all I got from it was they went to a party in this episode. Martha had to step up. Tim ran. Tim led the villains away. The little girl was creepy as friggin' hell. She reminds me of Pennywise and everything with the balloon. The other guy reminds me of a psychopath, like a narcissist, basically narcissism and everything in that family of blood. But the gullibleness of the school professor and everything and stuff, because a little girl is so innocent. You never know what's hiding behind a shell. And it could be an artillery shell, it could be anything. But the only thing that made me cry was the fact of the soldiers, because I do come from a soldier family. My grandfather was in World War II, my dad's a Vietnam vet and everything. So to see them being honored was very proud and everything. But the episode, no. That was just all over the place. It was a pancake mess. It was like, you got one burnt pan here, you got this, you got that, you got half done. Like, things were not, it was too, you know? And because I understand about racism and everything else like that, it it didn't sit well with me because I don't like the idea of that, but this is what society was, and they don't want to admit to that and everything. And that's why I thought it was like the Doctor's dual identity. Does he want to admit to himself that he is capable of some of these things and cause these things because of his direction and perception, especially with the chameleon circuits and filters and everything, because it filtered out his perception.
Where did you watch the episode, Gadget? Or did you get to see the whole thing?
Just pieces and everything, and that's why. And then I found something that they explained in a different way, more understanding and stuff, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But they went really more off tangent than we were, and everything. So yeah, I would give them
pieces on YouTube. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
but
no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, on YouTube is the only place I can watch it because I don't have because I've been hacked too many times on the computer. So I try to stay away from a lot of sites, especially Discord and everything, allegedly, because I tried that once and never got my old phone back after that.
Trying to think the segue, but
yeah, but the segue would be like I said, the only thing I could think of was that they did honor the soldiers and they were wearing their poppies.
So 8, 6, 7. No, Sean gave 8 3/4.
Yeah.
Yes, 8 3/4. Yes.
Could I have some? Can I have your quarters? I like calculating quarters.
Can you have some what?
Can I have your quarters?
Oh yeah,
quarters. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sorry. Now it's just an 8.
Okay.
No, I gave it an 8.75. So for this episode, I have to say right off the bat that I don't know that I can truly review this episode objectively because first and foremost, it is very nostalgic for me. So that is something that I have going in my mind. And then warring against that in my mind is also the fact that I was thinking a lot during this episode about how much the modern era of Doctor Who, by bringing back David Tennant, sort of cheapened some of the stuff in this era for me. And it's the same thing with nostalgia. I don't think we can look at episodes of Doctor Who or anything really other than the lens of what we've experienced. So on the one hand, you've got this episode pulling at a lot of nostalgia strings. I'll get to that in a second. And then you've also got me thinking about future Tennant. And the reason I even mention that is just because it really does affect the way I view the episode and the way I think of it. And this episode, more than most, makes me think about both of those things. But getting to what I like in the episode and actually talking about the damn thing. So what do I like in this episode? Well, it's really the acting and the storytelling that I think are top tier. Going through some examples first, the acting is phenomenal. There's the guy who plays I think he's the brother of mine, right? The main alien, is that who that is? The brother?
The
son? Yes. Yeah, it is.
Okay. Oh. Well, he's excellent. I mean, his facial acting, he's acting really with his whole body, but he chooses sometimes to bug out his eyes. He chooses sometimes to tense up his jaw. And you can really see that he's putting his whole performance into the bombastic, eccentric angle. And all of the members of the family of Blood are kind of doing something different. So the friend of Martha who gets taken over, she's also cranking up the eccentricity to 10, but she's sort of doing the more reserved eccentricity. So you can see it in the way that she sniffs the air and the way she has sort of a more reserved gait when she's walking. The father of mine is probably presenting as the most typical human, but there's something a little bit off that's a little bit off-putting about that. And then I think the little girl is one of the most interesting ones because she's sort of putting on this persona of the mean kid, but it's about 10 to 15% wrong in a way that's extremely unnerving. So all of them are doing something really cool that makes them come off as these amazing villains, and I just have to give them props for that. I'm going to come back to the big guns when it comes to acting in just a second, but first I want to take a little bit of a detour to talk about some of the storytelling. We've had some of this touched on already, but for one thing, the guns in this, just the way that they're sort of disintegrating people and it's making them scream and disappear as they die, that's very unsettling, and it really adds to the menace of the villains. You've got the fob watch here. I mentioned that last episode, and this episode really is the second half of the first part. It's not really like two parts. It's kind of just one episode cut in two, but they managed to put enough good stuff on both sides. We had the fob watch introduced over there in part 1, and here it really is used effectively to drive the narrative forward. And then there's probably the most memorable, well, maybe not the most memorable, but one of the most memorable parts from this episode is watching the little boys shoot the scarecrows while they play that music in the background, and sort of an analogy for how they are turning these kids into soldiers who will participate in the Great War. And you see sort of the bodies of the scarecrows, almost like the bodies that will be on the battlefield. And you can see John Smith's reaction to this, showing a little bit more of his humanity, to use sort of an ironic phrase there. So that all comes together really well. And then it culminates in what I think is a great example of the acting and the storytelling, which is the scene you get where John Smith is talking about the doctor, and you really do get the sense that you're talking about the real death of someone, like the death of a real person here. Because you've got David Tennant here talking through one character he's playing about another character he's playing, and you've got Martha there, and you've got his love interest there, and you've got the little boy with the fob watch there, and all of them are just 10 out of 10 on this. And you see this emotion here of this very scared man. You get the sense that the doctor did not even think about this man dying, because John Smith is just kind of a throwaway name that the doctor uses. Hi, I'm John Smith. You don't think about the fact that this is going to be someone who might fall in love. You know, the doctor didn't even consider the possibility that that might happen. And you get this in such a short amount of time. You see him, after he's fallen in love, you see him getting married, you see him having children, sort of passing on who he is to future generations, and dying with his wife at his side. It's emotional. It's only about 30 seconds, I think, if that. To pack so much of that into that short of an amount of time, you just need expert script writing and editing and filming and acting. And I think they have all of that here. And it's even more amazing because you don't really need a lot of money to do this. The best scene in the episode, in my opinion, is just the scene where they're sitting around and talking. And yes, there are explosions and flashes in the background that I wish would have had some sort of warning on them, but it's all working through the context of the script, and it comes together so well. And that's why in the very end, when you think for a moment the first time you watch this that maybe John Smith did sell out the doctor, when he goes to confront the family of blood, you see the doctor reappear, and it is so captivating to see David Tennant back in that moment, and you are so glad to have him back. And you realize that John Smith did kind of get his goodbye there. And just the way the family of blood runs away, that's when we're back in our skin as Doctor Who fans, and the music starts, and we're seeing the Doctor best people there. The second to last scene is really great as well, between the Doctor and the love interest, when he tries to give her another shot, but she kind of stands up for herself there. And you get kind of a taste of a little bit of the end of the Doctor's era with the 10th Doctor, where it's going to come back to the have I gone too far thing, and what am I doing in the wake of all this destruction that I'm bringing with me. And the very last thing is the punishments he gives the family of blood. I have to say, thinking about them before I watch the episode, I might think, well, that's a little bit cruel and harsh. But even in the way that he deals with them, I mean, if you think about every single one of those punishments, the way that they're living eternally, yes, they're kind of freaking out at first, but none of them particularly seem like he's putting them through eternal pain or something like that, like eternal torture, even though they're going to be in an unpleasant state forever. I think it's very significant that he says that the narrator talks about the wrath of the Time Lord and doesn't say just the wrath of the Doctor, because it's almost like the Doctor is saying, this is why you don't want to be a god. He's almost like showing them why they don't want to live forever, even though he's doing it in this semi-cruel way that's a little bit out of character for him. But even as he's doing that, the character that he shows the most compassion to, in that case, the narrator says he might even forgive her, is the character who resembles the child. And it's really intriguing to me, because I don't get the sense that she's significantly younger than the others, but I think it's the Doctor's compassionate side coming through, because he is still dealing with the trauma of the time war and all the children that were lost. almost as if to say in this scene, he might change his mind someday. He might actually let them out of those punishments. I don't want the show to ever come back. I don't think the show should ever show the family of blood again. But you are getting some of the Doctor's compassion showing through, even when he is pulling off that terrifying face there where you just see his wrath coming through. And the closing line and the pull away on the Scarecrow, it just brings it all together, and it's just absolutely fantastic, and that's why I have to give a very enthusiastic 8.75.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Sean. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Let me get, where's the thing? What is it under this? That's not under that. How many years have I been using this thing? Again, it's under media assets.
That's all the button. Yay.
Back to wrong one again. Notes. You'll see who made a comment. Yes, Greg of the Time Scales. Wow, nice review. Beautiful, Sean. And Forrest Dalek claps as well. And that's only a 7.8. Dude, it's amazing. See, I wish I could do reviews.
I think mine was what did I give
8 point whatever.
8.75, yeah.
Oh, yes, 8.75. 8 3/4.
Yeah.
8 3/4, yes.
Yeah, mine wasn't so good because, like I said, I couldn't follow it. For me, it couldn't follow it.
Yes, it's. Grego says 8 point. Oh, said what Sean said. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm going through all these buttons. Too many buttons here. Okay. So yeah.
Never have too many buttons.
I like zippers.
As long as you don't push the red one.
Oh, yeah, I don't have the red one. Let's see. Sean Michel.
Yes.
Number 9.
So I gave it number 9. It will always be part of your review. Will be how you thought of the first part. I thought the first part of this episode of the 2-parters was stronger, but I'm also a sucker for the classic base Under Siege. So it has all of the classic Doctor Who elements that you like. You have some of the Gothic horror from the last episode, the mystery of the time period, and the Doctor trying to figure out himself. And this one is the classic, base Under Siege, which I enjoyed a lot. Again, you're also beginning to see the Doctor, especially this Doctor, he's very arrogant. So we're starting to see him becoming, because it starts off the Time Lord Victorious Arch, and he thinks that he can just bring the nurse who was in love with his other form, his human form, and that he could just bring her along. When as the Doctor, he feels nothing for her. He just bring her along to be his companion in the face that Martha also has feelings for him. So we're going to see a very arrogant Doctor, a Doctor that is used to getting his way. And then it goes into some of the problems that we'll have for the rest of his arch. Again, I love the ending with World War I and the tie-in. That the end did make me cry. Was the veterans at the end, and again, I do have a family history of my great grandfather was in World War I in the Navy for Britain was drafted as a young boy when World War I started. So. And again, that's the history of the fact. And also, I had to look it up. It is estimated that between a total of 885,000 to 900,000 British and British Empire military personnel died during World War I. Jesus. Again, and being American, we feel more for World War II because we were in that longer and we had a much more impact. America was only in World War I for a very short period of time. Now there were, significant casualties. We're nowhere near the death rate for Europe. So again, and we kind of memory hold World War I here in the United States. So I do appreciate when we see the Britishness and the remembering of the sacrifice of the First World War for Europe, and also what a senseless war that was. I love how it explained that a Serbian kills an Austrian archduke, and because of all of the treaties, a world war will start, and that's pretty much how we were explained to it in the United States. And it wasn't until I was in high school I really understood why World War I was even fought. So it touches a lot of things that I particularly like. I thought the first episode was the more stronger, which tends to be true in Doctor Who 2-parters in the modern era, but this time, unlike some of the recent era, it actually felt like it delivered at the end. So that's why I still give it a whole 9 and 9 together for the 2-parters.
Oh yes. She gave it a no.
Again, that's how I got fired. I said no, so I'm a no.
Tinky Winky. That was a flashback. Okay. Let's see. Chuck E. Cheese. Wait, why I say that? Candyman. He eats everything that he can.
Yeah, I absolutely love this episode. It had everything I wanted. It had fast pace. It had history. It had the Time Lord making a choice of paradoxical decisions, which is classic Greek theatre. The history, the things about what's going to happen the year later in 1914. The end scenes with the war medals, which were the war medals he was wearing. But I'm not sure if you guys noticed it. He had both Great War and World War II medals. He was right. Yeah, this scene here. I don't think you got the pictures of him showing out on that, but he was wearing both World War I and World War II medals. And I've still got them. If you go back on some of their other shows, not in here, but on our other channel, we can talk more about it. My great uncle actually died in the Great War. In near the Somme, the trenches. I just love the paradoxal. You got John Smith, a teacher who thinks he's had a whole childhood life, falling in love with the matron, having a thing about it, but to hide away from these people, he became. On the other side, you got the doctor who's running away because he doesn't want to give the family of blood the ability of immortal life. If John Smith survives, the family of blood survives. The only way to basically stop the family of blood is to kill John Smith. Thus, having the doctor, it's a paradoxical decision. What do you do? And it's one of these tough things. It was the same thing in I watched the classic literature with Agyeman, who had to decide whether or not to sacrifice his daughter to please the gods, or not to sacrifice to basically, or have his whole army screaming at him because they was doing it. It's the same principle. I love that story. I love the music they use. If you notice in there, especially in the fighting scene when they're using the songs that we used to sing at morning assemblies at school, that sort of fear of like children becoming like cadets, becoming soldiers in this short space of time. I'm not sure if you know about the culture as well. In the Great War, if you didn't go to war, you was given a white feather. That white feather actually represents cowardness. Okay, and it was a big stigma to get a white feather in England in World War I. Before, if you was old enough to fight and you weren't fighting, it was a shame to great thing. And this is why Timothy had that thing of, I'd rather be a coward and run away. Okay, because that is such a stigma for that time. I'm not sure. Did you know about that, Michelle, about the white feather?
Yes, because there was a movie called The White Feather, but I didn't realize that it was in World War One. So now you're mentioning it, I understand that there was the stigma of the white feather, and also with him serving in World War One, he's young enough. I mean that because World War II is 39, and they did call back older servicemen to serve home guard during World War II, or he could be officer corps too.
Yeah, I think that the music they use in each of the scenes were absolutely amazing. Sean touched about it as well. Just the silence of them sitting down here, hearing the mortar shells exploding with flashing lights. It just feels like it was like the precursor to World War One in the trenches.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It was a whole thing about. I just think everything about this episode just hits right, and because of the pace of it, I actually enjoyed it more than the first episode. The first episode sets up the story. Yeah, it's okay pacing. This is like going completely, like Gadget's saying, fast, chaotic, which is what it would be like in trenches. This is what I think. This is a good thing. I just realised it now while I'm talking about this. The trenches was a slow war.
Mhm.
It was literally great in World War One. It was gaining ground every so many years, or just getting a little bit further, until they went over the top. And as soon as they went over the top, it was chaotic. Okay, and I think this episode, the two episodes, sums it up. It's a nice little peaceful village in the first episode to the pace of chaotic and think about it. The little girl was creepy as hell. I think the schoolmaster was still in the Victorian thinking, because remember, a lot of these people, of these adults, might have fought in the Crimea War, which is the Victorian era,
and the Boer War too. That's where he
Yeah.
says South Africa. He's a Boer War veteran.
Okay, Boer War, yeah. So that's going to have a different perspective compared to what you got now, because we're looking at it from our eyes, going back to that time period. What we also need to look at, point of view, when you're watching this, is looking at the adults just coming out of the Boer War, the Crimea War, coming into a new dawn with Queen Victoria, who just passed away. I know what year was Queen Victoria passed away?
1901.
1901. So you got 1901, new monarch. 14 years later, you got a different monarch. The world's changing around for gearing up for the Great War, which just suddenly happened. You had all the suffragette movement as well, with women's rights, and you still had the racism going on. It was it was one of these sort of mixed in pot time periods, which no one knew what the outcome was if you was living in that time period. The only thing I will have to say that I have to knock down a -5. Can someone tell me how they moved the TARDIS out of a shed in front of the school with straw men?
Yeah,
they had rebar in them.
Yeah.
So
some kind of supernatural alien.
The TARDIS took some Ozempic. She lost a lot of weight, so they were able to move her, and then she got off of it and put her weight back on.
I know that because I'm on a Semtic at the moment. So yeah, that could make sense. But yeah, that's why I took half a point on it, because that did that plot bit by it. But the music, the pacing, the paradoxical Greek storytelling, the scene it was set in, and like everyone else said, the end bit with Poppy Day. We don't call it Veterans Day over here. We call it Remembrance Sunday. Which would have been in November 11th, roughly, or the Sunday nearest to November 11th. For Poppies, even the Army cadets who was filmed of it, because I reckon they were just normal Army cadets rather than actual extra actors, look pretty good. And the war medals, everything looks absolutely top on. I can't fault this episode, and that's very rare for me.
Right.
I could
our Memorial Day, which is your version of Remembrance Sunday, that is in May for us in the United States. And in the United States, we do November 11th is our Veterans Day.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I could attack your argument about them moving the TARDIS, but that might be a straw man argument, so I won't use it.
The difference is because of the end of the American Civil War was in April and springtime, and it became in the United States you can decorate the flowers because it's decorate the graves because the flowers were in bloom in the springtime, and that's where we get our Memorial Day is always in May because it's springtime and the flowers have bloomed.
Okay.
We do. You probably know more about that than most Americans. I mean, if you ask most Americans what the difference is between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, they probably won't know. So you're probably like above and beyond knowing that.
I grew up in a military veteran household, and I knew this before I was knee high to a grasshopper.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't have a 2 separate days. We just have one day
Mhm.
in the UK.
Mhm.
We just have Memorial Day, so that covers veterans, civilians,
Right.
and everyone. And even, like I said, I showed you earlier on, the poppies, the purple one represents war animals who
Oh,
passed
yes.
away, because there were a lot of service animals in World War One: horses,
Right.
dogs, pigeons.
Pigeons. Well, for
Okay.
in the United States, for death rate, the American Civil War, we estimate between 600,000 to 900,000. And that's both Union and Confederate, because it is it is a Civil War die in that conflict. So it is by capita the highest death rate in American history. So that's why for us in May and springtime when the Civil War ends, that's why that's our version of Memorial Day.
That's
And
quite
that was
interesting.
tragic because we didn't even invoke anybody else for that. We just
killed ourselves.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it starts in the South with freed slaves decorating Union graves first for those who died for their freedom. Then it gets picked up by the white women, and then there are several different places that claim to be the first Memorial Day, and they're all happening between April, May, June, July of 1865.
Oh, wow.
So that's quite interesting. We don't actually celebrate or do anything for our Civil War.
Well, also, again, per capita, and also it's only 160 years ago. That's a blink of an eye in timeline for us. So,
yeah.
And Nick, you gave it a 10. Explain to me why you gave it 10 and you didn't pick up the TARDIS.
What a beautiful episode. Oh my goodness. This is why I watch Doctor Who for. Because it has all the things that you guys have mentioned. It's got the top-notch acting, and it's got the music, and it's got the time period just right. Now, what if the Doctor hides away because he knows what he will do to the family of blood if he's, full strength? Maybe he doesn't want to let that monster out, so he becomes human. This is a story about loss of innocence. So we've got the loss of the innocence of John Smith, the loss of the woman that he has a romance with. She loses her innocence as far as how she perceives him. We've got the loss of innocence of the children. So to me, that's incredibly powerful, and that really hits me when I watch this show. I've got personal reasons for loving it. I really enjoyed the book. I was so pleased that it got adapted, and they adapted it just right for me. The pacing works very well for me. You do have the triple problem. You do have multiple things going on, but they all make sense to me. Yeah, even the weedy scarecrows make sense to me. I make it work. Okay, I make the logic work. And Paul Cornell, at some point, he kind of played with having the story happen over several weeks. But then they were like, this is too long. We need to tighten it up. So they did reduce it to a shorter period of time. So hence the chaos, hence the momentum keeps building to that climax. His treatment of the family of blood at the end, it really makes sense to me when I look back at the Seventh Doctor, who would, destroy entire planets. It does seem in character to me. And of course, the novel featured the Seventh Doctor. But the fact that we have David Tennant, who is such a good actor, really is the icing on the cake that makes it work. He shows us all these different sides of him, which is great for him as an actor. He can show us all the different chops. Here's a human, here's the Time Lord. So he gets to play with that. And he makes it work as something that we believe he could be capable of. So yeah, maybe he's holding back at the beginning. That's why I love it.
He loves it. Oh, I was going to ask you. So now that we come to this part, from the novelization of Human Nature with McCoy's Doctor, what is the difference now between the novel and what we have seen?
I don't think
said it was the Doctor was mysterious, being manipulative, being the whole.
Yeah. That's the big difference. It's even more in character for the Seventh Doctor to be manipulating himself. Yeah, not just the situation, not just bad guy aliens, but himself. He's tricking himself. Like he tricked Ace, like he tricked the Daleks, he's tricking himself to, completely. He totally pulls the wool over his own eyes, and I totally believe that he would do that. And so this is the same guy. The 10th Doctor is still the Doctor. So that's part of his life. It's part of his pattern, which does lead to Time Lord Victorious. And of course, we've got all the great foreshadowing as well, foreshadowing what happens at the end of season 3. And then later, it does get a little watered down, as the fog watch returns. But, just kind of an opening salvo for so many things that are going to happen.
Okay, hour 22. Mine will be just a couple of minutes. So let's jump back it up. I start them all. Star trekking across the universe. So Rose Deer gave Family Blood 9.4. Too much drama and violence. Higher note with. See, that, for me, that's. Love you, Rose, but like Sean's review was like, boom. I would put that 9.4 because it gave such detail, and to say that too, because that's just me. I'll get my review soon.
Personal taste.
Time scales. The Family of Blood averaged 9.3 out of 10 on the time scales with 240 ratings and reviews. Creating America. You said you only like this episode because it gave us the master epic introduction for New Who. Also, Headmaster was an epic dude. Epic. I liked Headmasters too, especially Fortress Maximus. The Transformers. Oh, that meets the eye. Okay, that was it. Okay, let's see here. So it comes to me with my lackluster reviews. Okay, I can't turn. Time to turn the light on the porch. Let me see here. So, yes, my review. So, I'll give the number at the end while I ponder this, because Gadget also stated to me to watch that YouTube show from a few years ago. Said it was a clone of me as well. Does that mean I'm a clone of him because he was 6 years ago, or wibbly wobbly timey wimey? Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Anyway, I'm Dr. Evil. Do I go with the monologue yet? Not yet. Oh, first let's go see what Rose says. Talking about flowers on this episode of Doctor Who makes me remember the song, Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Yes, because I went from Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Picked by young girls, everyone. Where have all the young girls gone? Gone with young men, everyone. Where have all the young men gone? Gone to soldiers, everyone. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. Where have all the graveyards gone? No.
And that's right for Vietnam.
In the backyard of Nick's house.
Yeah.
Gone to graveyards, everyone. That's the end of the song. Okay. So, talk about poppies and such, because Mark was big on this episode for Spill the Geek Tea during last year, where we talked about regarding Memorial Day and Veterans Day. We did that combination there, and hence that's we had the poppies for that show. Like my grandfather, uncle, and the uncle that passed 2 days before the end of World War II, surviving Normandy. All these things that people don't remember. And now in the U.S. we see the draft is being brought back. So for 16 to 39-year-olds, history, repeating itself. When human nature was set, it was at a boy school learning, saying, yes, they must learn how to defend themselves because the war was coming. So that's why they had to learn how to do all these things. When the scarecrows came along, it's like, now you're going to use your training and shoot at them. You must. The enemy is there. Of course, tears and eyes. They were not prepared for these things. And so is John Smith. Said, no, it's not me. I cannot do this. And to find out, it was only straw. So that gave them that relief. Only to find out later, of course, yes, you defeated an enemy that was nothing, but the horror will come. And of course, Tim going through World War One, World War Two, wearing his medals there. This is something we cannot overlook. History repeats itself. We know the people that we've lost, what's going on now, why is schools teaching this? This is the way things were. And sadly, the way things are now. The concept of the Doctor hiding himself, so I'll get to reading the monologue because, I got my tea and I will clear my throat for that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the idea of, I don't want to become this doctor. I want to be just John Smith. The dreams of how was planning to be, and if they were going to die within a certain amount of time, but again, they've gone into human bodies, and that would have been another spanning of, the young girl, sister of mine, son of mine. That's another 40-some years, 50-some years. They would still go on killing. So with the Doctor's mindset and with everything else, with the Time War, the creeping in of Time Lord Victorious, you should have let me push all those buttons. Things occur. There's only so much you can do. You're overwhelmed, and with the deaths, with Jenny, mother of mine, stating what she did, that was it. He just... Hence, we have the fury of the Time Lord. He never raised his voice. That was the worst thing. The fury of the Time Lord. And then we discovered why. Why this Doctor, who had fought with gods and demons, why had he run away from us and hidden? He was being kind. He wrapped my father in unbreakable chains forged in the heart of a dwarf star. He tricked my mother into the event horizon of a collapsing galaxy to be imprisoned there forever. He still visits my sister once a year, every year. I wonder if one day he might forgive her, but there she is. Can you see? He trapped her inside a mirror, every mirror. If you ever look at your reflection and see something move behind you, just for a second, that's her. It's always her. As for me, I was suspended in time, and the Doctor put me to work standing over the fields of England as their protector. We wanted to live forever, so the Doctor made sure we did. Creepy, scary, but as this was a Seventh Doctor story, so keeping that mindset of the mysterious Doctor, the other, bringing forth into the 10th Doctor. So it's fitting because it was written with 7th Doctor and Benny, but as Nick said, it was without the scarecrows. But now we have this, the changing. So, PTSD, all these things, it's the mindset. Dealing with loss, all this loss, saying, what, he cannot go any further. It was his decision of doing what he did instead of just putting him in a prison, letting him die that way. No, he was in pure disgust. And sadly, there is that pain inside of us. We either go low self-esteem and just fall apart that way, or the rage within us and just can't stop it. Unfortunately, this was what happened. Too much and the promise of more deaths, and no, you want to live forever? Fine. Time Lord Victorious, which we, of course, discover in Sideway. Big Finish, it goes different ways here and there, but yes, that's the idea of taking over the human bodies, but it's for the visual woof. Woof, woof. The visual effects, the idea of the whole thing, it's fitting for the story. So I think my original number for last week was 9.9999999. So I will retain that as well, because it was, again, it's a historical piece. the idea of what would happen if, escaping this way. What would happen if you infuriate someone to the point of they don't care anymore? At least, well, we have the happy ending with Tim, because having the fob watch, absorbing the energy, knowing what's going on, he saved lives, because that was his job, being a soldier. Must soldier on, must learn, and he lived a long life. And to see old friends one more time, that gave a nice little ending to what we shall see next time. Which, so again, 9.99999, as I said.
Sounds like Rage Against the Dying of the Light. Says, don't go gentle into that good night. Old age should be burned and raved at close of the day. Rage against the dying of the light. That's what it sounds like you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Good men we last wave by, cry how bright their frail deeds might have danced in the green bay. Rage against the dying of the light. Wow. Basically, that's you. That's what you just said.
I think, like, you could have totally made us think earlier that you just memorized that final little section there. Like, you could have been like,
back in the day,
I memorized that.
Honestly, back in the day, I can still recite I Barnabas from I can still recite I Barnabas from Dark Shadows as Jonathan Frid playing Barnabas Collins, and I shall for a future episode. Not in this channel.
Sean, I still remember your Venusian lullaby.
Oh yeah.
Remember that so well.
I actually, thank you. I actually learned to play that on guitar, and that's one of the things when I play for people at places. It's one of the things I play that people tend to ask me to play, and it's such a beautiful song, and it's such a quirky little thing to be in Doctor Who, because it's not in the show very often. But I think like John Pertwee really brought it to life.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the Peladon episodes he did that in, I think. Yeah, but it's just like, and if you ever listen to Big Finish, if you hear the Eighth Doctor sing the Venusian lullaby, it's like it's so beautiful. And that one's got accompanying music with it as well. Oh, I really like that. Thanks for remembering that.
Debbie Melrose on Facebook says, "Vengeance is a strong emotion." Yes, that's Roger Dodger. Yes, Billy, it was something to do with not being able to get their anthrax vaccine and something. My eyes are a bit dry. Sorry. Rose says, it just makes you think war is such a tragic waste of either young people or even older people. It's always the prisoners.
The prisoners went first during war, so they can get time off their sentence and everything. Because that's what my grandfather told me when they were fighting and everything and stuff, that they went first, then it was the able body, and then whoever was left that could fight.
A lot of desperation in World War I and World War II. It's like, I think that's why they spend so much time talking about it, like when they teach history class, because it's just like there was so much like tragedy, And it's like, if you would have told me before I saw this episode, like, yeah, we're gonna learn about World War I, and you're gonna be sad about it, and there's gonna be scarecrows, and it's gonna be the saddest part. And then if you would have told me you're gonna be sad about World War I again, and this time it's gonna be inside of a flying phone booth, and it's gonna have a guy talking to himself and another soldier after the snow freezes, and there's these glass soldiers, and the guy goes, "What do you mean World War I during Twice Upon a Time?" Like, oh, that got me so bad. It's like, you did it again, Doctor Who.
You're the historian. Which one was it? World War I or World War II, about the brothers that they couldn't send two brothers over?
That was World War II, because there was a massive amounts of there were a few of massive whole families were killed. There's the one where they really changed it was near the end of the war in the United States, called the Fighting Sullivans, which were 5 brothers.
I heard about
that. On one ship, they all went down together. Then that was the male line, and there were 6 children altogether. One was a girl; she never married. And out of the 6 children, there was only 1 grandchild The oldest son had a child, and after that, and also is starting compounding. There starting to be a few families that were losing all of the boys, and so that's when they started pulling back that brothers couldn't serve together, and then if there had been deaths of other siblings, they would pull the surviving siblings home.
Because it was very odd, because my uncle and my dad went, and there were technically 5 of them, but 4 came over on the boat and everything. Yeah. So my dad and my uncle.
The Flying Sullivans were in 45. It was in the summer of 45. So World War I we're only fighting against the Japanese, and they were sunk by a Japanese mine. And so by that time, because also there was a fear that the United States was going to have to go into Japan, and there's going to be mass casualties in Japan, they started making laws in the War Department about separating siblings. And then if there had been mass deaths, they would bring the surviving home. And that's also what the storyline for Saving Private Ryan is that when they would find out that there were only 1 or 2 more surviving brothers, they would send 1 or both home.
Yeah, my grandfather was 1 of 14, and there were 7 boys, 7 girls. So all 7 boys, give or take, went over and everything, and they were put in different barracks and different, during World War II.
There were a handful of mass sibling deaths, only a handful, but they made the news again.
Right.
I think probably World War I probably would have had more, especially in the British side. But again, there were a few well-publicized mass sibling death from World War II.
Mm-hmm. And Doctor Who always makes us think so much. I think about, I mean, the show really is, a lot of it is just centered around like how war in general like has affected the Doctor's frame of mind. I mean, I think of the speech from the Zygon inversion is probably the one that people cite the most.
I always think,
But I always think like I don't think Russell T or Stephen Moffat are veterans, but not that I know of at least. But I always get the sense that like there's somebody, that they're either speaking with or consulting or in the writers' room who is a veteran whenever there's something like that. It's like, because I don't think you write episodes like this or put episodes like this together unless you either know someone or it's like you can kind of feel that experience coming through.
I think,
and in my family history in the American Civil War, I had family from Arkansas, and they fought for the Union. Even though Arkansas seceded and was a slave state and was a southern state, I had 5 men in my family tree that went. It was 4 sons and 1 father. I am descended from the 1 boy that came home.
Wow!
For the oldest son.
And Michelle, explain the difference between the Union and the Confederate for people who don't know.
Union is the national federal government. The northern states, President Lincoln. The Confederacy is the southern states, the states that seceded to keep to create a separate country so they could keep their slavery intact. So my family line, even though they're in Arkansas, which is a southern state, they fought for the Union. So there were things called Southern Unionists.
Yeah.
So all 5, 4 sons, 1 father went. The oldest son, reason why I'm sitting here, he was the only one that came home.
Damn.
Everyone else in the family, the boys, the men, died. And I have the pensions, and they're writing to the pension, trying to get a pension because the marriage certificate got burned because the guerrillas came through and burned the courthouse. And I'm seeing where it affected the family line for generations of trying to support and take care of a family that had 4 of their men gone.
Sean, I just wanted to say your point. I'm not sure what it's like in the US, but in the UK, we get taught a lot of the history of World War II and World War One. In the UK, we don't touch much about the US Civil War, so I am learning something today because. But we do get a lot of. I live in the oldest garrison in the UK. It's been going on since 43 AD. Okay, that was even before America was even thought of. This is Roman garrison town, which basically moved through the times, and it's still a garrison town to this day. They've mainly got the Paras here at the moment. We've had the Gurkhas here, and so I do come across a lot of military personnel. In here. I never served in the military. I was an air cadet, but cadets are pretty much like what you saw in Human Blood. They're more of like we train with weapons by the age of 14. Or we used to do that anyway. So I'm not sure you guys have cadet services and what age they start off in the US.
We have oh, sorry, go ahead.
In the UK, you can basically sign up for cadets, air, sea, army, or you can. And some schools do a program which you saw today, and they still do it in some schools to this day. Are combined cadet forces. One of the symbols, going back to the 7th story, the Curse of Fendrick, their emblems they were wearing were combined armed services, which was quite big. So it's one of these sort of things in the UK. It's not a proud thing like it is in America, where you basically got a lot of respect for your servicemen and women and animals.
Yes.
But it's one of these things that we know about it and we get taught about it and we sort of respect them, but we don't do it out loud. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it is quite different because I mean, in the US we have like ROTC for young people, and it's kind of like a militaristic thing. But I think like with Doctor Who, for example, I know that Americans, if you watch Americans react to the episode, Listen, you know, there's that whole thing where. Is it Listen? The one where Clara, well, I guess it's kind of multiple episodes where it's like, where Clara's like, you're teaching them to shoot people, you know, you shoot people and you cry about it later, you know, or I'm not doubting the quality of your wells. Like, I think in the US, I mean, first of all, we do learn a lot about military. I mean, a lot of times in American education, unfortunately, they don't give a crap about what's going on in the world stage unless it involves war. And they're like, this is who was with us. This is who, you know, these were the powers. And even like before America was founded, like we learn a lot about war in the States. But I mean, people do have a very different reaction. So when Clara is saying kind of those rude things to Danny about his military service, I noticed that Americans tend to react a lot differently. Not like with outright offense, because I think a lot of Doctor Who fans are kind of online more, and so probably are more used to more international conversations. But it's like, I think there was probably some conversation about how Americans would react to that. But a lot of people who live here in the States do feel a lot like the Doctor feels about war. Do feel, you know, they're much more pacifistic and much more, you know, hey, let's not go fly to a different planet and mess everything up. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people would feel like the Doctor would feel here. So I think Doctor Who is kind of it almost like it's speaking to some of those things. And the fact that it is allegory, I think, means it speaks to a lot of Americans. I've never seen an American who outright got offended, like, you know, the Doctor shouldn't have said that, or how dare Doctor, you know, but I think because it is a fictional show, it opens people's minds. And I think it actually is an important part of the conversation with sort of international communication. I think, you know, I think art has that power to transcend culture in that way.
Thank you, Sean. As we're almost coming up to the end of time, we've got that 2 hour dead mark. We've got some announcements to do, Tom.
Let me bring up that screen. So let's see here. Not banners, media assets. Run through the top photos here and do the share screen. And because we're going to have this, people. Blank screen. There we go. That's me, Mario. The future of Doctor Who on Saturday, March 21st at MegaCon at 3:45 p.m. in room W300 stage. As we discuss the future Doctor Who. So we got the one panel at MegaCon, of course. That's overlay. There it is. MegaCon, March 19th to 22nd, 2026 at the Orange County Convention Center. I'll be there on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you'll be able to see me in one various form or another, talking to all these people in collaboration with Spill the Geek Tea. But we will actually be with the Dalek builders at their table. So there's the banner there. If you see me, click on my QR code. Space Coast Comic Con, June 20th to 21st, 2026. That's over by, Space Coast. In Oviedo, Florida, we have August 21st and 22nd, 2026, Epic Verse. I think that's going to be at the Oviedo Mall, which they now also have a comic book store. So giddy up there. On September 25th and 27th of this year, Ancient City Con down in St. Augustine, Florida, where all the things here and there happen. And we'll get to that last remark in the moment, that little last thing in a moment. Let me get off here, or I can bring everyone to do their goodbyes and such. So, Sean, while I get the banners, where can we find you? Sean?
I'm here.
Oh.
Sorry. I thought you were I thought you were trying to get something. I was just waiting.
What?
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Okay. Yes, you can find me on youtube.com at Our Philosophy Is 9119. I am doing a whole lot of nothing right now, but because I've mainly been doing stuff here. But there's a lot of Doctor Who content from the past on that channel. And mainly it's talking about anything nerdy, anything philosophical, anything classic literature in a queer-friendly space. That's mainly what I do on my channel. If you happen to pop over there, let me know what you would like me to review, if you'd like me to review something, because I really should get more diligent about uploading things on my channel. I really, really should. I was reviewing every single episode of the Second Doctor's era, and then I just kind of stopped. I pulled a BBC and was like, oh, that's enough Doctor Who for now. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on over there. But head on over there if that sounds good to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, continue on where you always do that. Don't be like me. Be like Nick.
Like me?
Yeah, the famous, famous Nick. You forgot to say famous Nick.
Famous Nick.
Yeah. I want to say hi and bye to Roger, Billy, Rose, all the people in our chat. Thank you for your support. Come find me at nicksmithfilms.com or look for hashtag nicksmithfilms. You will find me. You can find my YouTube channel. Guess what that's called? Nicksmith Films. Yeah, and check out the movie Interior Hallway Night with Billy Zane. I would love to know what you think of that. It's out next week. All over the place. And have a wonderful week. It's really nice chatting with you.
As he will disappear before the show ends. Michelle.
I am on Facebook, Michelle L. Hamilton, author. And if you're interested, my debut novel, Widow's Weeds, is available on Amazon as an ebook and as a paperback.
Dear Sarah, madam, would you read my book? Took me years to write. Will you take a look? Get the man.
Yeah, you can find me here at The Legend of Traveling TARDIS. You can also find me at Spill the Geek Tea, and you can also find me at my Instagram, where I put up all my cosplay and filming and do random things. And for everyone who, like Nick said, everyone who joined us today in the chats, thank you for joining us. And for those who've served, wherever you served, whether it's US, UK, Canada, or wherever you serve, just thank you for your service. Which you don't get here from a UK guy. So thank you.
Boom.
Everywhere, anywhere, Spill the Geek Tea, traveling TARDIS here. My own show, Gadget Vlogs, and the new one coming up, Gadget Pendragon After Dark. Lulu.com for these guys and everything. It is on Amazon too, but thanks to Nick and Michelle, especially Michelle, pointing out that there is an author's page. I'm going to start working on that on Amazon so you guys can find me better there and stuff. But I'll be at Anime NYC, praying I can get to New York Comic Con and anything local, depending on if we ever fix the apartment here and everything.
Me people, same old stuffs. That one, that one, that one, pretty much so all the time. But this is a Legend of TARDIS. Grego, my producer over at the Timescales, says great show. Let me move the banner off there because, you know, something did happen a year ago. We did lose someone that was with us. It's now been a year. Let me get to the banners. Let me get to media assets. Let's pop his picture on the top corner there.
Todd, before we
no, don't, not yet.
Before you do that, just got him thing about next week's episode.
Yeah.
Because it's not on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Gadget remind me, and you remind me, and Christian remind me.
I sent him the email too, yeah.
Just a reminder, because, you know, now, Sunday's episode, Spill the Geek Tea, it's going to be Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, Spill the Geek Tea Takeover. I can't even see my own show. And I'm going to bring in those who have not appeared on Legend of TARDIS, who are co-hosts on there, to Legend of Traveling TARDIS. So that's a big thing. So that's Sunday at 5 p.m. We're jumping to Monday for the Legend of Traveling TARDIS. It's going to be on Monday, the 16th at 7:05 p.m. So later time on Monday. It's a collaboration with Christian and Billy of the Kitchen Killers, as they're doing a special show talking about the show that he and I are going to be in it. And Billy. MegaCon. They're going to do a MegaCon show on Monday, 7:05 p.m. Eastern that day. So keep in mind that, folks. Tuesday, there will not be an episode, not even me sneaking in and doing one. It's just too much information there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is why I have the crew, because I can't remember. And
we're working on that.
Yeah. Brain farts. So as you see up above, talk about Simon. Now, one thing that, because I still get time, Christian has posted a song on the YouTube Shorts using the Living Years by Mike and Mechanics. Now, Gadget has found a song. I'm not going to play it. I just want to bring it up.
If you guys want to see that too.
Mm-hmm. This one is what was chosen. Even the dogs agree.
Yeah.
The Last Goodbye. This song carries 1,000 years of Celtic sorrow and hope. Is from the Cheeky Celt. So look that up on YouTube. Play it through. It's 3 minutes and 49 seconds. It's
if you want a more mellow goodbye to our wonderful big brother and everything.
Simon agrees with it. Keep it at that. So, I keep these screens. Oh my God. So thank you all for watching. Oh, that's Split the KG. So, as we all say, we say goodnight to Simon and, of course, Tony. Play us out.
Night, Simon.
Good night, Simon.
Good night, Simon.
Meet again.